We are now picking up with Mike Harrison Band, and basically we signed with Warner Brothers Records as a group, and I as a writer. And at the same time, Mark and I and Dave created Cyrus Round Publishing and Cyrus Round Productions to protect ourselves as far as a group, with the chance that we would have Cyrus Round Records later on. We left that open and started publishing some of our stuff. Anyway, we recorded all 20 of the songs, and Mike had booked us for a tour of Australia, Japan, England. We would have been making $1,000 a week. But I really was getting irritated with his personality and what he was doing to the music. It just really started bothering me. And I remember Tommy Boyce telling me a story about how he had just got through writing and recording. Well, actually, he went into the studio with Dean Martin, and they had recorded one of his songs. And Nancy Sinatra really liked one of his songs, and of course Frank was in the studio there. And she goes, "Daddy, I want that song." And Tommy goes, "No, no." And I says, "You can't have that song. I'm going to do it." And that was an excuse, really. He just, didn't think Nancy, was that great. And Dean basically said what Nancy wants, Nancy gets. And Tommy said no, and he basically told Tommy if he didn't, that the song would not be released. And so Tommy said no, the song didn't get released. And so it was a matter of pride in your work, and he just wasn't going to do it for the money. And that taught me a lesson. I got to thinking about that, and I thought, do I really want to spend time with this guy? So one day I received a call like 2 o'clock in the morning. He says, "You're not interested in going touring, and you're not happy with the situation." I said, "No, I'm not." And he says, "I could ruin you if you don't go on tour. You're signed to the label." He told me all these legal things he could do to me, and I said, "I don't care." So I said, "I quit." So when Dave heard that, he quit. The band quit. Mike was never heard from again as far as America. And so all that music was left in the Warner vault, and same with the stuff I did back in the 60s that we did, I'll never see that stuff again. And I was they still wanted me as far as the writing Warner Brothers did. But nothing really became of it. I would submit things, they'd turn it down, and finally after a while they just kind of, cut me loose. And so during that time I had a spiritual awakening, and it changed my life. And basically my goals were not quite the same. I mean, when I first started out, Bill and I, it was all about, sex, drugs, rock and roll, drinking, the whole thing. And of course by the 70s it was like rock and roll, or driving the Cadillac or the Rolls or whatever, and the money, not so much the drugs. Cyrus Round started, it was rock and roll, drinking, the money. But then that all changed, and then by mid-70s it was the idea of writing something that people would like, be pleasing, and then, you know, of course always looking for that record contract. And, but, you know, wanted to be another Dylan, you know. And by about 1977, I did this side project called Promised Land and formed a group called Green Skies. And wrote 12 songs of religious nature, and actually, through a friend of mine, I performed it at my church, and eventually played about 5 or 6 other places, and did the show off and on for about 2 years. Cyrus Round basically broke up as a group in 1980. More because of, I think, marriage. Margie got married, and I got married, and Larry got married. No, he wasn't in the group by then. Keith. We didn't get back together, as a group, or a reunion, until about 1985. It was a one-night thing, and we all took pictures, we played, and kept in touch over the years, but really didn't do anything musically. By '88, I moved away from Glendale, and moved to the Coachella Valley, and would do the occasional, you know, writing. I mean, I kept up the writing, but you know, when the timing was right, I'd write something. And that all basically through 1999.